In 1979, Ridley Scott gave us one of the best, if not the best, sci-fi horror movie, and in 1986, James Cameron followed it up with one of the best sequels of all time, Aliens. The story follows Ellen Ripley, Burke, Hicks, Newt, Bishop, Hudson, Vasquez, and the rest Marines as they lose contact with the colony on LV-426 and go to investigate, where they find one survivor, Newt. Ripley becomes a guardian or adopted mother to Newt, takes care of her. The Marines investigate one of the facilities where they find people cocooned to the wall and rotting. That is when the xenomorphs attack. Ripley drives the APC to pick up the Marines, but the Marines have suffered many casualties, leaving Ripley, Burke, Hicks, Newt, Gorman, Hudson, and Vasquez, and Bishop as the only survivors. Their dropship is destroyed, which means they have to find another way off-world. Bishop flies the second dropship down, and then the xenomorphs attack again, killing Hudson, Gorman, Burke, and Vasquez, leaving Ripley, Newt, Hicks, and Bishop as the only survivors. Newt gets captured by the xenomorphs, and Ripley goes to save her. And then they come across the xenomorph queen. Ripley and the others escape in the nick of time right before the explosion happens. Then they get back to the Sulaco, and it turns out they have a stowaway on board. The Queen tears Bishop in half and tries to kill Ripley and Newt. Ripley gets in the power loader and gets into a fight with the Xenomorph Queen, using the airlock to blow it out into space. Then Ripley, Newt, Hicks, and Bishop go into cryosleep and drift home. And the less we say about Alien Free, the better. James Cameron knows how to craft an amazing story. The pacing and writing in this movie is so good. Each character feels like a three-dimensional character, and even the ones who aren't fully fleshed out, they are still very memorable, which is more than I can say for the characters in Alien Covenant. We got David, Heisenberg, Daniels, James Franco, the captain with the IQ of a rock, and the rest of the red shirts. The cinematography in this movie is amazing. Each shot is so well composed. Motion is slow when it needs to be, like with the reveal of the Queen, or the Marines searching through the complex. The action in this movie is filmed very well. You can see everything that's happening, it's well edited. Just like the sweeping shots of Hadley's Hope are very well done. They are both beautiful and terrifying. Another example of this is the xenomorph rising out of the water right before it captures Newt. Camera pans up as the xenomorph is rising out of the water, and it just gives you the feeling of, oh. Other movies in the series took inspiration from this movie. For example, in the highly underrated Alien vs. Predator from 2004, they used similar camera tricks and lighting. Speaking of which, the highlighting, or just lighting in general, for this movie is so good. Again, a great example of this is the reveal of the Queen. With the light and fog illuminating her figure as the camera pans up, it is beautifully terrifying. The lighting in the complex, or in the alien hive, is another great example of this. When it was darker in some scenes, they gave the xenomorph suits brighter highlights, like their colors of blue or brown, so it could stand out better on camera. An example of this is, funny enough, my xenomorph action figure. It has blue highlights for it to stand out in the dark, like in the movie. The Queen has similar dark blue highlights. The lighting makes everything stand out in this movie. An example of this is, again, Alien vs. Predator. It uses similar lighting tricks so the scenes stand out more. On the other hand, the sequel, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, doesn't. The lighting in this movie is so bad. Can you see anything? I sure as hell can't. Immersion is one of the things that helps you get invested in the world and the characters. Characters in this movie feel like real people that you could talk to. The movie makes you feel for these characters and makes you hope that they get out of here alive. Example of this is Ripley. Ripley is one of the best characters in science fiction history. She's smart, likable, tough, caring, and acts like a real individual. The other characters have great personalities, like Hicks, Hudson, Vasquez, and Newt. And just like Ripley, they feel like real people. The world in this movie also feels real. That's probably because most of it was real. All the effects in this movie were practical, like the power loader, the xenomorph queen, the xenomorphs, the weapons, and the vehicles the Marines drive and control. Which, again, is more than I can say for Alien Covenant. Not the effects part, the character part. Characters in this movie, so unmemorable and so dumb. These characters make the dumbest decisions, and they don't feel like real people, they just feel like red shirts. As a matter of fact, let's see all the galaxy brain ideas that these guys had.
IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
I'm sorry I went off on that tangent, I just needed to get that off my skin. Okay, back to praising aliens. The colors in Aliens are usually blue or dark blue. It's consistent with how some of the locations in the first Alien looked. The colors give a futuristic look and mood. Color blue is everywhere in this movie, including the title. Aesthetically pleasing and very nice to look at. Alien vs. Predator had a similar color palette with the use of blue. And just like this movie, it knew when to use it. In conclusion, Aliens uses principles of design and film theory in very good and effective ways. Thank you for letting me waste your time.